All right. Tai Chi World Cup training 2023. We got Alona and James going out representing the US. Could be a huge deal. Going against Taiwan, the top team, which I have their shirt on right now. So it's gonna be great. So drills, the best drills for you guys. If you want, I mean, if there's anything specific you guys want to talk about, we can do that now. But if you wanted to go, I had in mind just a set of drills that we would do as as part of the conditioning and the strategy leading up to the months and weeks before and days before, because the drills change based on timing before the you have to start being really cautious and conscious with the body, but also pushing the conditioning more and more as we get closer. So if you guys want to run through some of that, we can, and we can start right now.
That was good.
Do your thing, yeah.
Okay, let's do it. So, all right. We got Autumn here, and we're gonna get a timer out, and so we'll do 2-minute rounds. Are they still 2-minute rounds?
I don't. What do you?
The fixed step is 1-minute rounds, and the moving step is 2-minute rounds.
Yeah, but
With 1 minute.
A 1-minute round in fixed step can last like 3 minutes because you're cutting in between points. Unless they're depending on the refs, some refs will stop the timer in between points of play, so you might be playing a very long time for that 1 minute.
Yeah.
So let's obviously start with our uplifting heaven or something to warm you guys up if you're not already warm. And I have a timer here, just a boxing timer. And this is 2-minute rounds, 30 seconds rest. So we'll go for this. I'll set the timer. And the first drill we'll do, which you guys I've already done before, is going to practice the drop and launch. So one partner is going to come run up to you. The other partner is going to drop below the shoulders and push the shoulders 45 degrees up to a corner. So we're going to drop down and launch up 45 degrees. And then the other partner is going, then we'll go right back to, in fact, no, we'll go one partner going for 1 minute, and then the other one will go for 1 minute, and we'll cycle.
Do you want to do this on the angles?
Sure, we'll do it. We're going to do it on an angle over here. So I'll run to Autumn. She'll launch and push me. Start in 3, 2, 1, and go. So launch, push up, launch, push up. So I just hit Autumn's face, her chin, with my chest. So it's really important to be martial about this and move your face to either side if someone's coming at you to protect the mouth and the teeth, etc. And make sure to load them in. So Alona, make sure that you're bending the arms so that you really get them close and then launch them back. So allow yourself to get close here. You should be close here and then launch back. Yeah. Okay, and then switch. Yeah.
Switch. Yeah. And then just say on, switch. Okay.
And the person who's running is practicing softening into the palms, exhaling, dropping your weight forward. So even the person who's getting pushed is training those intercostal muscles, and with the lower dantian really sinking into that front leg and being calm under the pressure. And just take a little rest for a second. Any thoughts, ideas, or questions on this one exercise?
Just, it was a different concept to really like let him come into me. So. Yeah, and once I did that, I could feel it's like, oh, that's part of the drop to really receive first. And yeah, it makes it more work to come back out of it too.
Okay, great. Let's do it again, switching legs.
Spiral
And-
out,
Yeah, sorry.
is it
continue?
spiral out?
Mm.
When she's receiving that force, is she spiraling in and then spiraling out?
That was the note I was about to give. Exactly. So when you're receiving the pressure, Autumn, coming to me. So I'm spiraling into the front leg. So I'm dropping down, and if you see it from the front, spiraling into the front leg, spiraling in to the front foot and leg. I'm even picking up my back heel a bit if I can. Sometimes someone's pressure might be too. You may have to anchor your back heel to take the pressure. So this is more similar to a Wu style stance, but as they come in, you're spiraling into one leg, and notice that I'm turning my head as much as possible. I really don't want to make contact on my temple, but I'm doing my best to protect myself. You may even pick your hand up and cover your temple with the posture. So notice that my hand is here, covering just in case, because it'll get the pressure is going to be pretty heavy with someone's running into you or trying to press into you. So all you're doing here is allowing them to help you wind down, and then inhaling, inflating out, because you're essentially sucking them into that hole. So to a certain extent, they may be pressing in, but they will start to feel a drop. And if you can get a reaction out of them where they want to pull back for a second, because they've come in and then boom, that you can time it with that. You may not get that reaction. You may just have to add a layer of an angle, a layer of pressure. And what I mean by that is that they may be pushing down this way, but they may have a structural hole here, and that's what this that 45-degree angle is for, is to take advantage of the structural hole. So spiral in, push out. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Great.
I'm also gonna try and not throw myself when I throw him. So
Yes.
I've been working.
Try to keep that back heel and pull
Yeah.
yourself back in. Okay, I
Yeah.
Good.
Ready?
Yes. Turn the chin a little bit to protect them. Good. It's more of my skin dragging rather than my impact and pressure.
Okay.
And switch.
And then keep coming towards me, like you're gonna run. Yes. Right, in.
Yeah, uplifting heaven. So guys, we're gonna take the same drill. We're gonna bring a little bit more of the boxing footwork into it, which obviously you'll be using in the ring, if you're doing moving step. And all that means is that we'll sidestep before we take the pressure. Sidestep, take the pressure, push. Sidestep, take the pressure, push. And pick a leg that you'll go forward with. I mean, if you want to, you can switch legs as well between the pushes. But let's do it again with the sidestep in mind. And this is also helpful for moving step, because even though moving step, especially in Taiwan, they actually allow you to lift the foot in different ways on the pedestal as long as you don't go off the pedestal. So if you need to reposition yourself slightly on the pedestals, you can, and that'll be very, very helpful if you're playing moving step, slight reposition, push.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll even see them do a slight half step forward.
We haven't tried making our own pedestals to try that. Do you think, have you tried that? Is that worth it?
So we did that last year for the first World Series of push hands out here in California. We also we made the rules tougher than Taiwan, so that was really, really intense. And we allowed like a certain type of grabbing, etc. So the pedestals weren't very sturdy at all. Grandmaster Chen, Josh built pedestals. Josh and Dan carved at pedestals. They might still have them at the school, and I would ask them for it because it's on mats. They made the circle, and the dimensions are pretty precise. So
Yeah.
if they still have that at the school, definitely ask. Especially if they're not going to planning to keep it. That's definitely like an heirloom. So please check in on that. But if not, just get tape, put it on the floor with the right measurements, and then the feet are in that posture. And that you really, really want that. And keep it on your phone too, so in case you're in like a studio or something like that, you could at least put like a little single piece of tape on for each foot and get down into that stance. Obviously, once we have the R position, we'll have a better idea.
Yeah, we should. Thanks.
Okay, so let's go for the round again, but this time with the half steps. Okay, here you go. The side steps, excuse me, not half steps. Okay.
Am I starting at an angle?
Yep, go for it any way you want.
I'm not really
Okay.
understanding.
Just take the step, do 3 to your left and then 3 to your right. Side step, push. Side step, push.
Oh, we're going in a circle.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
exactly. Side step in a circle, push.
Oh, okay.
Side step, push. Get your hips lower than mine. And for the side steps, guys, make sure you're doing clean footwork, meaning here, I'm gonna just pause this for a second. You really want as clean as footwork as you can get, meaning that if you're gonna go right, push off with the left. If you're gonna go left, push off with the right to keep the clarity of your stance rather than stepping behind or stepping in front of. That'll make you cross your feet. And if someone's rushing you while you're crossing your feet, you're essentially setting yourself up to fall. So push off the left to go right, push off the right to go left. And for the person that's running at you, make sure, give a level of rhythm and realism to it, meaning that you sidestep and then take the pressure. So let the person sidestep and then run at them. Let them sidestep and then run at them. Because we're breaking down the moments because they're going to happen at the same time. So you want to have a real confidence in each moment that's happening. The moment of the sidestep, the moment of the rush, and take the pressure. Okay, let's go for it again. I'm going to press pressing start. Okay. And sidestep. Oh, okay. Oh, it's so nice and quiet.
That's one arrow, but shouldn't we-
Oh.
And the spider still works.
Excellent. That was fantastic. It's not, take a little breather and then we'll switch. So one person just did 2 minutes technically. How does it feel for you guys that sidestep?
The footwork is getting clear, that's fine. I was kind of talking to James about, I'm not used to having this posture with my elbows in, because I'm always more defensive. So it's good to prepare for that, like.
And
I
William has
don't know,
always emphasizing this distance from the ribs to the triceps for all his techniques. So
Yeah.
he's training us to go this way.
So I was like, oh, can I do the spiral in, spiral out with this distance instead of this posture?
So
Requires, more conditioning.
So remember, they're all part of the arsenal.
Yeah.
So, all of them. So it's not one doesn't negate the other at all. They both complement each other. We would do this as well for with Josh in preparation, especially toward the 2004 World Cup. And the intention there, when Master Chen showed us, she had her hand on my chest. The intention here was to lift up the opponent's elbows and push at the same time. So it was really strategic of sticking to the elbows and launching the entire arm. So in other words, I'm not pushing just the shoulder. I'm throwing the wrist. I'm throwing the opponent's forearm. I'm throwing their elbow. I'm throwing their tricep, and I'm throwing the shoulders over the hip. So when you make that connection, boom! It's a full. Everything comes out and blasts forward. All the attention's on everything. On each one of the points of contact, I mean, by everything. Each point of contact has its intention forward. So when you're doing this, the difference here is that we're rooting into the ground intentionally intentionally while setting up other opportunities. Meaning that this is realistically a place that you're going to get, and no matter what, and you can either train it or not, but it's going to happen. So when you're in this posture, notice that even here, I have this opportunity here. I don't necessarily need to push. I can pop an arm down and I can slide in.
Right.
So all these different opportunities to drill, and the drilling is going to be based on your creativity and based on the 3 to 5 techniques, because you only need 3 to 5 techniques that you drill very, very intensely to go into a world-class tournament. If you have any more than 3 to 5 techniques, you probably have too much going on. So you want to pick the 3 to 5 techniques that are going to be pivotal for you to create different combinations with. And the concept of variations of each are going to be important. So if you have this and you're pushing up, and the variation of I'm inside, and notice the difference, and now I'm lifting up and launching, and I'm rounding my back so that everything throws forward, and there's a cascade in the spine with the breath work, that's going to be a variation of the same thing of pushing up and pushing forward. The target's the same, the connection and your expanded awareness is what's applied slightly differently.
Mhm.
Cool.
And that helped to explain that this could be from the outside. That's really helpful because you're controlling that.
Exactly. Inside and outside versions. Inside, you're controlling interior from the side, controlling in. Outside, you're inside, you're going to roll up. You definitively want to roll up even a little bit, because the centrifugal force adds up. So every little spiral is going to add to the power going forward. So you do want to flip up, and So definitely do both, and that's a variation we could even do right now. We could do the inside and we could do the outside. James, since you're not doing fixed step, we may want to go right to that. Because Alona, you just did the side stepping, correct?
Yeah, I'm not doing moving step.
I think that's right.
Yeah, but this applies to fixed step as well and moving.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm only doing fixed step possibly.
Okay, so yeah, these drills apply to fixed step as well, because someone's going to, if we're just play for a second, obviously we're playing here, we're right there. So now we're in that position, and as you can see, now I'm behind the back. So now we have a variation of this, of the push. If I want to push up, I actually have to get my thumbs in and roll up and use my hips to roll up and maybe even slide my hands in front if I can. So there's, we can talk about that, but let's focus on the one we just discussed, which is the inside and outside. We just did a bunch of outside. So let's do inside pushing and lifting at the same time. And just being really cognizant of every point of contact, fingers, heel of the palm on the shoulders, your hand, the opponent's hand on your shoulders, meaning that your shoulders are going to roll forward, meaning the shoulder blade's going to disappear into the upper back. Everything's going to come forward. So let's play with that for 1 minute, and then we'll switch.
Is both people playing with it at the same time?
You're going to take the push and come back in the same way, and then I'll go to you. Ready? And still load the hips. Sorry. And if you're a partner, make sure if you're putting the pressure on, make sure the contact is a realistic contact. So give some pressure to give the partner that's pushing the opportunity to redirect it. Because remember, all these spirals are redirections. Thank you. Your turn. Really good. Thank you. Great pressure. And switch, guys. Ready?
Can you just walk through it?
Yep. Yep. Go for it.
So,
You're going to be on the inside, and you're going to push and lift up on everything. Exactly. Beautiful. And you're still getting the hips underneath your hip line, underneath my hip line. Good stuff.
you can do it.
Good stuff. I recommend an inhalation on the launch to fill up your lungs and allow the lungs to agree with the inflating arms. Good stuff. Beautiful. Stuff.
I had trouble doing it.
Good stuff. So Lona, more spiral up with your inflate your triceps more, and let the connection. Yep, exactly. Beautiful.
I was thinking of the shoulders too much, yeah.
And you know the handle flip concept that Grandmaster Chen talks about?
Like pour the coffee.
Handle flip, right here. So
Yeah.
the flip concept. I'm relating this to the push. You take the almost the ridge hand area, you connect it to the small of someone's back here. You exhale, drop the hips, and you spiral. I'm into my farthest leg from her is where I'm spiraled into. And now the handle flip comes, this hand energizes, I'm reaching down to the ground and I'm lifting up and over. So you're essentially flip and lifting up and over. And that this is one of the 5 push hands, fixed step push hands drills that I would train. But how this relates to this push is the same concept of the flip, meaning that when you're connected here on the inside, watch how the hip and the chest flip positions. So the same flip sensation that you might have there, it's similar but on a different angle here. So my hips went back and my upper body flipped forward. So you're inhaling. This is the form version. In this version, you're going to cascade. The butt will go back, but not sticking out, meaning that my lower back is sticking out, more so that my hips are staying forward, but my chest is flipping and my shoulders are flipping like a turtle shell here in this direction. So you're going to big bear it forward, and you'll feel it in how the body mechanic pushes the opponent over and lifts them up. You're lifting them up and flipping them. It's almost like a flip internally here. Flip forward. So just try to bring that mechanic in. Why don't you try that now?
Sure.
So
And then,
sure, one more time. Me, inhaling up, up, up. And right at the end, and really all the way through the fingertips at the end. So you really want to feel even the tips of the fingers push. Go for it again. Inhaling up. Beautiful.
Cool.
Good stuff.
you have back foot feet all the way down.
No, that's exactly what you're saying.
Cool. I want to be comfortable with that.
Check time. Okay, cool. There, really use one.
I don't know if we're starting.
Hmm. Okay. Guys, since we don't know starting position, let's go from a position that'll definitely happen after start, which is the 50-50 clinch.
Yeah.
So we know that this is going to happen in both fixed step and moving step. So let's play with the arm drag from here using the shoulder, the cascading shoulder or shoulder roll to create space. So I push the shoulder forward on my opponent's shoulder to create some space right here. My hand slides in when that at the same time that happens, and at the same time, this hand slides back. So create the space. Other hand pushes down. So notice that this hip exhaling drops this down as this drags across. So we'll break that down into slower techniques, but inhale deep, exhale shoulder 1, inhale hand slides up 2 as the fingers come across the belly. Just so you can see the fingers coming across the belly on the other side. Shoulder, fingers. Notice that my shoulder and my triceps stay connected because I don't want, I want to hide the movement. So I'm creating the distraction with the shoulder pressure to hide the movement and bring this hand inside. While this hand is coming inside, this other hand is sliding up. And remember, this hand is sliding up, replacing pressure here. So all these little details. So remember that you have the pin here on the wrist. Hand is on the elbow. Create that space. And now we just slid pressure across the wrist up. And then exhaling down and across to get your arm drag.
Cool.
So we'll bring it down to 3. Shoulder, shoulder, slide, push across.
1, 2, 3.
Why don't you go for it? Shoulder, slide, 2 slides at the same time. So keep
One.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, keep this pressure. Only move the elbow and slide across. Exactly. And slide across across the belly. Yep.
To this?
To the tricep. Higher. Triceps higher. There you go. Great. And now push the wrists as you exhale and drop your own hip. So you have hip power, and then you pull across and pull across that way. You could pull across this way, but
This way?
yeah, you could.
And would the power's coming from my right hand?
Well, it's full body power, but essentially you're once again. So this is my right arm, pressure with the shoulder, reaching across, and now exhaling, my hip drops as I drag the arm. So my hip is dropping and this hand is dropping, and letting gravity do all of it. So it's not like I'm pushing down, I'm dropping and it comes across. Shoulder, yep, wrist, hand goes back, and exhale, popping it, excellent. That was fantastic. So. Yep. Great. Yeah. Alona, do it again. Excellent. Great. One note to coordinate is that the fingers are moving together on both hands at the same time. And what I mean by that is that, without Autumn here for a second, this is my 50-50 clinch. I create the shoulder pressure, and then the fingers change positions. So shoulder, fingers, drag. Shoulder, fingers, drag. And notice that the wind up starts with the shoulder, meaning that there are several parts in the form where we'll wind a certain area before moving the rest of the body, meaning that rather than moving hips and fingers at the same time, the hips will move first and then the fingers will follow. So here, shoulder creates the coil in the hip. Inhaling, fingers now line up to the coil in the hip. And then exhale, dropping across, everything happens at the same time. So we broke it apart and then we reintegrated everything to get the full power. And that's what creates the sucking power. The sudden sucking power is the fact that we took the mechanism, broke it apart, and then added it all back together for one moment. So let's bring it back. So shoulder, fingers, and then dropping, exhaling, agreeing with gravity for the hip. So the hip drops and the hand drops, and then right across. Shoulder, yep, hip. Beautiful, excellent. Switch sides. Going inside. Yep, it's a good question though. I think so. Let me move the chair real quick. They just moved, and it seems like it's like you asked that they like got to safety, so we should probably be safer. Yeah, yeah, good stuff. Okay. Shoulder. Good. Good. So make sure you clear this past your hip. That's why I got stuck on your thigh.
With this hand, with this.
Yeah. So you're dropping with gravity, but you're dropping with gravity on with intention from right past the. Okay. Yeah. So take it slow, just to make sure that you guide with your fingertip. Shoulder. Good stuff. That's fantastic. Yeah, sure. Guys, as a note here, just as a note, remember that at any given moment, you should be able to switch to a different technique. So when you do the shoulder pressure, which creates the wind in the hip and the distraction in the shoulder, and you're creating space here, remember the creating space here, as you transition to the other side, this in and of itself can be like the judo blade, meaning that you create distance and you keep distance. You might play from here. You might play the rest of this moment out from here. You might switch up to here and blast backwards and turn the body that way. So just making sure that you feel like you have more options at every given moment. And yeah, that was just my note, just to make sure You feel all the different options you have. If you're doing moving step, you might step across and drag the shoulder, do the shoulder blast. If you're doing fixed step, you might be here, you come across, and then this is another shoulder blast to get them to step off the pedestal. And it's actually more of a bicep shoulder because you're gonna punch. It's this moment in the form, this roll. So, and you just use the footwork, widen, and punch through. So we can drill all those, or if there are 5 moves or 3 moves, I'd say pick 5 that really work for you guys, for your body types and your strategies overall. We should dive deeper into those. And I think that we should probably get together once a week at least doing that so that we can refine over time. I'm happy to do that with you guys. But yeah, I just want to take a moment and just point out all the different options from here. And that I didn't point out all of them, put out the fact that they do exist.
Sessions, I'd also like to do the crank.
Yeah, I've been having trouble with that idea when I try and turn, I'm actually loading myself up on my opponent instead of loading them up. So.
You talk about the crank?
Yeah.
So I think what he means is, am I right? That I would have a hook here and then be able to turn on And he- down.
So, what might be crank is great, and we can talk about that too. I think we should probably make a whole session just on the crank because there's so many slight variations that it can become muddy, and when it becomes muddy, then the technique is just pulling somebody off there. So we should talk about that, but we should also talk about what we call the bear. And the bear is how Josh beat the Buffalo, quote unquote, the guy he fought for his world championship title in fixed step. How he beat the Buffalo was with this technique called the bear, which you should get with Dad. My dad does it very, very well. And essentially, it's hands come on the shoulders. Exhale, drop your hips, so it looks like you're pulling them forward. And so you're relaxing into their shoulders, but then you activate the actual pull or turn. And so it looks like this from behind. Drop the hips and then turn with the crank. So it's a 1-2. 1-2. And that 1-2 creates a disruption in your opponent where they think they're falling forward. So they immediately pick another direction to not go forward. And when they pick that direction, you're already going in that direction. More than likely, if you're on fixed step, it's going to be the direction away from a direction toward their foot. So her left foot is forward, so they're going to pick the direction toward their right foot here. So we know 1-2, and now they're going to the hole. So these are little games to play with the psychology of your opponent. And since we just talked about that one, let's actually just. I know. Have to head to a meeting shortly, but since we just started talking about this one, let's actually play with this just a little bit. So we're going to have the hands with fingers facing each other, almost like you're doing hugging the tree, and you're going to give a hug. You're going to give a hug, but just with the hands and the wrists connecting to the shoulders, and then like an elevator getting its cord cut, you're going to exhale and drop your hips. So you exhale and drop the hips. And let's do that from the side. So you're here, 1. And do your best to keep your back straight so that you don't go over your own spine, over your own hips. So 1, 2. And feel like you're hanging and holding on for dear life here. And then activate, once you get to that, to as low as you want to go, then you turn the opponent with a gentle crank, like you're dropping a barrel of apples to the side. Emptying a barrel of apples. So go 1, 2. Want to try?
Feel right?
Try it again. No, guys, another note. is to make sure that the shape that you make once you connect it is solid. And what I mean by that is that if you drop and your hands extend, then the weight is not actually going into their hips. So by nature of making this connection on the back, you're connecting all of your weight to their hips. So when you drop your hips, it doesn't fall on you downward, it falls into their hips. It should be very uncomfortable in their lower back hip area. So you go
Yes.
1, 2, and you drop the weight into their hips. Do you feel the weight in your hips? Okay, cool. And elevate it down. So
Wow.
exactly. Excellent.
Don't you feel that?
Yes, I do. And you can even soften your lower back more to get more downward pressure for yourself. More drop from here. So it means more bending.
Because I'm pushing-
So as the hip drops, that means the knees soften. So you want to be cautious with your knees because you don't want to blow them out. But yeah, both knees are going to soften. It's almost as if you ever get hit in the jaw really hard, your knees get weak. So it's just like a drop like that. Good stuff. Better. Good. As you exhale into my hips. Yeah, it should almost feel like you're Tarzan swinging on a vine. You grab the vine, you give all of your weight to the vine. I'm the vine. Good stuff. Now turn me in this direction. So 1, 2, drop to turn. Turn me into the hole. The hole's here. I mean, the hole is the place that I can't step. That's the hole. Amazing. Excellent. Just so you can feel again. Oh yeah, you can move the head. Absolutely. Okay. Go for it again. So I see what you mean by move your hands. You reposition your hands, right?
Yeah.
So in general, no, because the reposition adds to the rhythm. It adds a beat to the rhythm. So it'll feel like. Did you feel the 1, 2 there?
Yeah, but I also can feel you move your hand.
I felt my hands slide, but I didn't lift up and reposition.
Can you do the slide?
Sure.
it feels more
You feel how it
intense.
slides on your
So
clothing?
where's your ending?
My ending's right here. Because all I wanted to do was get in the step. Oh, another thing, guys, strategically, is that this move, before the ref calls go, this move is especially important for when you've set up a pattern for your opponent to move along. What I mean by that is that, let's say we're playing the original way. So ref call go, I blast. So the opponent is like, oh wow, they blasted. Ref calls go, I blast again. So what's going to happen now? The opponent is most likely going to be so upset that I hit them twice with that blast that they're going to push back on me. So now I know that I should expect more pressure, and you're going to be able to read the opponent from here to see how they're feeling emotionally. So when that ref is calling go and you're reading that their pressure is coming forward, then that's when you would make a decision to more than likely do an arm drag. That would be the next thing I would do. I would do push arm drag to mess with the psychology, and then feeling the pressure, that I would pull out something like this and drop out, because what you're doing is you're showing them different angles that you can manipulate them on, and whatever angle you show them, there's going to be more resistance and desire built up inside your opponent to go in the opposite direction of where you're making them go, because they don't want to listen to you. And that's how you start playing the mental game with them. And I highly recommend checking our YouTube channel for the for Josh's bout versus, just put Josh Waitzkin versus Buffalo. Watch that fixed step game, and you'll see this exact strategy play out in real time. And
Yeah, it's the first one on your channel, on your YouTube channel. So I watch it 100 times every time I turn on your YouTube.
Oh, so it's not that
plays
one.
automatically.
There's two. So the 2004 World Cup was before they merged fixed step and moving step into one game, meaning that you have to win the fixed step to get to moving. So back then you had to win fixed step as one division and then win moving step as one division. So Josh has two titles from that World Cup. So he
Okay.
definitively won the Buffalo fixed step, and the moving step was considered more of a draw. But the fixed step was a definitive win.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would definitely,
And
that's on the channel too. Yeah, just write the word fixed step. Josh Waitzkin, Buffalo fixed step.
okay,
So you'll see the whole game play out.
okay.
And let me know another
And
day.
that was 2000.
I have to get to a meeting in Santa Monica, which is like a lot of driving. Can't believe I'm driving.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
I love you guys so much. Just let me know another day next week and we'll do it.
Great.
Sounds
And
good.
also-
Okay, we will.
If you can text me the moves that you're thinking of beforehand, and just check the playlist, because there's all these different techniques that we've done together and that are just on the YouTube channel. You'll see like a library of them. So if there's any of those techniques that are techniques you want to dive deeper into here strategically, especially for combinations, meaning tying them together for combinations, we should work on that too.
Sounds good.
Got
Okay.
homework to do. All right.
All right, love you guys so
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.
Good to
All
see
right.
you both.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.